Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation, and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. Let go of negative thinking and stop living for the weekend. With your host, Fran Excel.
So welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel Mindset Coach, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm very grateful you've chosen to put me in your earbuds today. Please do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything, and do leave me a review. I love reading them, and it really helps me get found by other people who need to hear what I share. I'd also love you to email me your mindset and productivity questions or topics you'd love me to cover to hello@franexcel.com, because I know a lot of you think I'm inside your heads because you tell me all the time. But if I don't know what you need, I can't give it to you. So let me know. So if you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and changing things for yourself, then book in a free discovery call so we can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. And if you want my eyes and ears on your problems, I work with people one-on-one and through my Proactive Pants Mastermind. So stop waiting for if and when and decide to change things now, because you can. It is easy to see that 2020 has been a year of all the things. It's given us an opportunity to really hone in on what we want, as I've mentioned in a couple of other episodes recently. So I wanted to take that a little bit further today and help you hone what that is. I want to talk about the concept of things feeling heavy or light. Essentially feeling good to you or feeling bad, positive or negative. But it's tuning into that physiological feeling of heaviness, really being able to notice that it's there in the first place. We are so ingrained in our habits that often we don't even recognize that we feel bad or heavy because it's so normal to us. It's just conditioned that that's how we're supposed to feel. This can be physically, emotionally, or mentally. In society today, it's pretty normal to feel rubbish. We just often don't know any better. And because we don't know any better, we don't know that we can do something about it. We cling on to those stories that life and business has to be a certain way, and it's just not based in the truth. You can see the evidence of this in lots of different places if you look. When you make a big life change, like a diet or exercise change, and they say, I always go for diet and exercise because it's everybody can relate to it. And it's as if you have no idea that you could feel so good. You see that all the time. You see that language. I had no idea that I could feel this great. I could have more energy, sleep better, feel more happy. We just think that we're always supposed to feel how we do, emotionally, physically, and mentally. You see the same when you finally let go of something like a toxic relationship or a friendship that's been dragging you back. It's as if a weight lifts off your shoulders. Even that phrase shows the physiological change of an emotional release. But there's another side to this that you can use to your advantage. So there's the physiological differences of a change, but what if you could tune into that for your business, your relationship, any area of your life? What then? If it's something you've been unaware of before, then it's likely that making it conscious means you could change it, right? But you've got to do my favorite thing and get curious and learn to listen to those cues, to your body, and remember that the mind and body is a linked system. Remember that and leverage that. Tune into what it's telling you, or in many cases, screaming at you. Imagine what could change if you made a commitment to only do the things that felt light. Ooh, there are always going to be necessary things that need to be done in your business and in your life, but do they necessarily have to be done by you? Social media for me, and many, many others, I know this to be true, over the last few months has felt really heavy. So I've limited my time on it. And you can see that in my Instagram. Most social media gurus would say that is a big no. But I mean, I've been in the Insta DMs and stories because that's my connection to the people that follow me, and I still enjoy that, but limiting what I consume big time. But even though I've done that, I've actually had the highest number of one-on-one inquiries in my business. So go figure, right? So many clients come to me with a heavy feeling in their business. They just don't want to feel it anymore, but they're not tuned into the fact that it's a heavy feeling. This can be linked to so many different things, but being able to tune into it and get curious is a game changer to make sure it changes. When something feels heavy, there's a reason. It might be that you're doing something or trying to follow a strategy of something that's out of line with your values, your unconscious identity, your belief system, what you actually want to do. Essentially is out of alignment for you, and that's not to be ignored. And I don't mean alignment in a fluffy woo sense. Now, that feeling. If you ignore it, all that's going to happen is you will feel bad and you will feel heavy, and you are highly likely to self-sabotage. So it's time to tune into your body and mind about what feels heavy so you can actually make the choice to change it. So what is that for you? And I pause because you will have got an image, or you will have got a memory, or you will have got something, a sense that tells you what that is for you. What makes you feel like you're having to drag yourself kicking and screaming through the process? What are you procrastinating over? Start to notice points in the day where you feel heavy. And I don't mean heavy as in you just had yourself a whole pizza for lunch. Not judging. I mean that emotional heaviness that you feel in your body, usually in your stomach or gut, your chest area. It could even be in your throat. There's no right or wrong over where you feel it, but it will tell you something and enable you to change it. So on the flip side, what makes you feel light, full of energy? What makes you happy, joyous? Make sure you're doing more of that, because it's likely to be your zone of genius. So when you've created some awareness around what might be going on for you, you can then decide what action to take. Tune into it throughout the day. Keep your journal to hand, or use your phone and type in your notes, and you'll start to get a feel for this. Notice what's going on for you and when. You can do it when you're meditating, if you like. That's super effective. And to add to that, once you identify something that you don't want to feel, you can dig deep by really understanding what's going on and try and break that emotional connection. That's kind of the key. And change your experience so that emotion is not going to drive your behavior anymore. So what do I mean by that? One of my favorite NLP techniques uses what's called submodalities. Now, I don't want to get too technical, but submodalities are essentially the building blocks of our experiences. It's how the brain codes and gives meaning to those experiences. An example of this is like when you think about someone that you don't like versus someone you do like. You will of course have different thoughts around these things, but you'll also have a different kind of feeling in the body. You may get visual, auditory, so things that you hear, or kinesthetic, that feeling cues. So you'll tend to get an image, perhaps a sound, and a feeling, basically. So each modality, so visual, auditory, kinesthetic, has submodalities. So to give you an idea, some visual submodalities would be, is the image that you get black and white or color? Is it bright or dim? Is it focused or unfocused? Now, here's when it gets cool. You can change those submodalities and change the way that you then experience that experience. So my favorite, it's what's called a submodality map across, where you elicit the submodalities of a particular state that you don't want to feel. For example, unconfident, and one that you do, confident, and map across the good onto the bad. I know I'm getting a little bit technical. I can't take you through that here, but I can try and give you a little idea. So these are going to sound like bonkers questions, but when you close your eyes, and please don't do this while driving, holding children, or operating machinery or whatnot, we're sensible humans, when you actually do this and can elicit the submodalities of something you've experienced or are experiencing, you can change it. So for example, if you were to think about the feeling of not liking someone, where do you feel it in your body? Does it have a shape? Is it hot or cold? Does it have a pressure, a texture, a color? Is it moving or still? You know, and if you were to get something like, and you do this for all of them, so you would go through what's the image like, are there any sounds that are important, you go through the feelings. I've just taken you through the kinesthetic ones there. But if you get, for example, like a black ball that's spinning in your gut, what happens if you make it stop moving or spin it the other way? Can you change its color from black to a ball of yellow light? Can you give it a heat? Can you expand that light to fill your whole body? How does it feel now? Another thing to understand, and I love that stuff. I use it all the time. If I get a negative feeling, one of my favorites was I got an image once and I had butterflies, literal butterflies in my stomach. So what I got them to do is I got them to fall asleep, and then the butterflies floated down, and then they had a nice little nap. I didn't feel any anxious nerves anymore. It's awesome. I love it. And obviously you can do this with an NLP practitioner. I use it with my clients all the time, and take you through the whole process. So another thing to understand is that your gut is lined with neurons that talk directly to the brain. They are connected. One affects the other. So you can lean into that and start to notice when you get a gut feeling about something. And I talk a little bit about this in the episode around intuition. But this, what I'm talking about now, is more kind of like, it is intuition, but it's not any kind of fluffy woo-woo. It's just how our body and our brains are wired, and just understanding a little bit of how we work that you can then use to your advantage. So when you lean into it and start to notice, what is it telling you? Do you need to course correct something that you're doing? Are you going down a path that's not right for you? You know, they're always talking to each other. The gut can talk to the brain in mere seconds, split seconds. The more we can learn to listen to our body and the more awareness we can create, the better, you know. But this is a skill like anything else. All of this stuff can be learned. Confidence can be learned. All of these different things that you want in your life are skills to learn. You just learned something else earlier in life through your experiences. You know, you'll start to pull towards the things that make you feel good and be able to actually understand what's bad for you instead of just accepting it as normal. You know, we're not supposed to feel rubbish all the time, you know, and we start businesses, or we want to write that book, or we want to achieve these big things because we know there's more to life. We know that mediocre isn't for us, you know, but the key is starting to notice it so you can take it from the unconscious into the conscious, and then you can change it. And the bottom line is, if something doesn't feel good to you, you have the power to change it. You can break that emotional connection that will help you move forward. And that's what everything that I'm about is, helping you move forward, overcoming that self-sabotage so you can get more done in less time with less of the stress. You know, so what feels heavy and what feels light for you? And I would love for you to tag me in on Instagram with any of your takeaways, or DM me, whichever way. But I love to get feedback on these episodes, and if you are feeling called, I would really love for you to give me a review. You can either head to the Apple Podcasts and give me a nice review, or head over to my Facebook page. So I would really love your feedback, and please do, as always, let me know what you want to hear from me and if this was helpful. So lots of love, and as always, I hope that was helpful. So any questions, just let me know. And as always, I will see you next week. Bye.